So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Galaxy S8 versus Galaxy S9. Should we do the upgrade? Now, it's been a while since we got the S9, but we have to do this video here because a lot of people might be thinking about upgrading from an S8 to an S9, or maybe they're thinking about not purchasing the S9, saving themselves a buck and getting the Galaxy S8. Okay, so with the Galaxy S8, we're going to cover a few key specs. I don't want to cover all of them because, you know, we've already heard about this one a million times. 5.8-inch OLED display that's 1440 by 2960, a 12 megapixel rear 4K shooter here. And this also has 4 gigs of RAM, a Snapdragon 835 or an Exynos 8895 octa-core CPU depending on your region, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery sealed in glass build on both front and back. First phone with infinity display. So it's a stunning piece of hardware here on the Galaxy S8. But what does the S9 offer in terms of an upgrade? So when it comes to the S9, you do get this new lilac purple. You do have a new coral blue color, a little bit different from the coral blue offered with the S8 series. A 5.8-inch 2K display, very similar to the previous version, although it's a little bit wider and the phone is a little bit shorter than the more narrow but taller Galaxy S8, as you can see right there. So if you like a wider display, you'll like the S9 more. If you like a taller but more narrow display, you'll definitely dig the Galaxy S8. Now, 12 megapixels on the rear, that's a 4K camera, but what's special about this one is it's a variable aperture camera, and you have blood pressure sensor right here as well now on the Galaxy S9. 4 gigabytes of RAM, and Exynos 9810 or a Snapdragon 845 is the model I have right here, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery once again. So you might be saying, well, those don't sound very different when it comes to the specs. What has really changed about these? Should I do the upgrade or not? Well, from a design standpoint, both these are fantastic. They both offer similar infinity displays, and I think they have the same exact screen to body ratio. But I personally find the Galaxy S8 to be a little bit more sleek just because it's narrower. But at the same time, I don't like the fingerprint location on the S8. I like it here on the S9, and the color on that lilac is just a stunning color. So overall, if you are going to be coming from the Galaxy S8 over to the S9, it's a little bit heavier as well, so the phone has a slightly more premium feel than the Galaxy S8, but it's about the same phone. So if you're an S8 owner already, you're not really changing too much when it comes to design. But if you're buying one of these for the first time, if you're going to pay a little bit less money, you're still going to get a fantastic design here on the S8, but pay a little bit more money and you get a slightly more premium design. What I would argue, a little bit better colors here for the S9. So that's how I would decide when it comes to design. Talking about build quality differences, both of them do have this glass that kind of is symmetrical with the front glass. So it looks almost identical to that. And both of them are very strong. I do find both these phones to easily scratch if you got a bunch of stuff in your pockets or whatever. I get scratches on these phones all the time. So they definitely need screen protectors, and they will scratch on the rear as well. They might not be able to see too easily on the camera, but these phones both will need cases. Either one you go with, you will need a case and a screen protector on both because they're both prone to scratches. Although the Gorilla Glass on the Galaxy S9 is a little bit stronger and tougher than the S8. So overall, you know, both have IP68 and both are built great, but the S9 is slightly better built than the Galaxy S8, but only slightly. When discussing software, here is where I think you get a benefit to the S9. Now the S9, I don't know what Samsung did. It might just be the processor performance being a little bit better, but the S9 just performs a little bit better than the Galaxy S8. Now you're not going to see this here because we're just running through some basic stuff, but the S8 kind of twitches sometimes. It doesn't lag, but it has some frame rate stutters that, you know, the Galaxy S9, I just haven't seen that on. So you're definitely going to be going to a very similar version of TouchWiz. You might get the S8 with 7.0 out of the box. You're definitely getting the S9 with Android 8 out of the box and Samsung Experience version 9.0, which really changed the game when it comes to software on this device. So I think overall you're getting a better software experience on the Galaxy S9. The camera is also a little bit different when it comes to, you know, how it just operates. Let's look at the software here on the Galaxy S9. You can see it's a little bit different than over there on the Galaxy S8. Seems like you got more features. You do have the AR emoji, which is going to analyze your face and things like that. You can make Mickey Mouses and Minnie Mouses and, you know, Donald the Duck, and you can just do fun little things on this camera that you can't do on the S8. Now you can use these little sticker packs they did give you for the S8, so there is some fun stuff on the S8, but the Galaxy S9 has a few more fun features than what you're going to find on the S8's camera. So keep that in mind if you are buying both of these. Now, both of those camera designs are very flat on the rear, which I do appreciate, but it looks like the S9's is slightly more raised. It's probably due to the fingerprint being, right inside of that camera design up there as well. So both of them have great camera designs on the rear, I feel like. But on the whole, software I think is a win to the Galaxy S9. It's definitely worth the upgrade if you want a Samsung phone that's going to last a little bit longer into the future. But even the Android 8.0 Oreo update didn't make the S8 feel as quick as the S9. So just keep that in mind if you are picking up one of these two devices. Now, in terms of performance differences, we will have to do a proper speed test. This is not going to be a proper speed test here, but like I say, I feel like, again, the S9 just has a little bit more of a faster opening times on some things. Now, right there, you're not going to see it. This is just calendar and things, but you've seen how it went home faster on the S9. In the day-to-day real world, where you really notice it is in RAM management. I just think that the S9 has a little bit better RAM management than over here on the left. Also, you still get those Samsung apps and you still get those Google apps bundled together. So it does have a little bit of bloatware, but overall, you know what? You're going to get a similar experience. But if you don't mind a little bit of slowness, you might think the Galaxy S8 is a better value for you here. When it comes to their battery life, I find the S8 to be maybe slightly a little bit better on battery life, which is kind of shocking considering that, usually every new phone gives you a little bit better battery life. But not the case here. The S8 actually lasts slightly longer than the Galaxy S9. I would say about 30 minutes to an hour in my testing, but both are easily able to get through the day if you're not beating on them heavy. If you're a very heavy user, consider the S8 Plus or the S9 Plus. Those phones will get you a longer time, but these are your traditional standard size phones. They will get you through the day, and these mid and max modes really help out a lot. But if you really want to preserve the life on your phone, just leave it on the 1080p mode that comes out of the box. Overall, if you're upgrading from the S8 to the S9, you're not seeing any improvements in the battery life, so keep that in mind. If you are buying one of these, battery life is slightly better for me on the Galaxy S8. When it comes to storage, both of them do offer 64 gigs of storage with 256 expandable on the Galaxy S8 and 400 gigs expandable on the S9. So you can potentially have more storage on your S9, but who's really going to buy a 400 gig card? I bet most won't. So both of these do have pretty equal storage when it comes to that. So you're not going to gain any storage coming to an S9 from an S8. So speaking more about those cameras, something that really is going to matter here, let's just put it this way. The only real changes you're going to see is that the S9 actually shoots a little bit cooler photos, I feel like, whereas the S8 shoots a little bit warmer. Now, the S8 is also going to give you a little bit more, I would say, softer edges on the front-facing camera, but it still is a little bit soft on the front-facing camera of the Galaxy S9. So both of these front-facing cameras aren't my favorite, but the rear cameras are pretty good. The variable aperture thing will really change the game in low light. So if you're buying the S9, you're really buying an upgraded S8 camera for low light, and you're going to get slightly cooler photos and a little bit better detail, but it's nothing the human eye is going to perceive unless you're really looking for it. So overall, they both have fantastic cameras, but you have to decide, is low light really worth the extra couple $100? If it is, consider yourself the S9 your choice. Now, when it comes to audio, one area where the S8 actually really badly loses to the Galaxy S9 is the speaker performance. So this has a dual speaker on it, stereo speaker sound, which is a nice update from the S8 because it does make it sound quite a bit louder than over here on this device. Now we can go ahead and play it here, and let me play this song. Now if you turn the Dolby Atmos down, you'll see the difference. You see how low that got? So when it comes to that, the Galaxy S9 is the winner. This has one speaker at the bottom, and it's easy to cover with your thumb. So I think that overall, if you're looking for better audio performance, get the S9. You'll be much happier, and you still have your headphone jack. So no differences there. Discussing phone calls, both of these devices have extraordinary phone call quality. They both have an extra volume feature when you actually are in a phone call. So no issues here on the phone calling. So if you do want to update from the S8 to the S9, you're not going to have a worse phone calling experience. And a lot of people don't mention this, but I just figured I'd mention it. The Galaxy S9 has never lost any signal in my entire time using it so far. So I've really enjoyed the phone calling experience on the S9. The S8 was similarly great. So both are good phones just for, well, a phone. And let's talk about price. So getting an S8 is going to be significantly cheaper right now than getting an S9, and you're not really going to lose out on a lot. Now, some people argue that the S8 lags. I don't find the S8 to lag at all. All I find is that it has some frame rate stutter sometimes, which means that sometimes it just doesn't look as smooth as you would like it when you have a lot of apps loaded up or things are running in the background. Sometimes you'll get this little weird like stutter, but it's nothing like that's going to change the performance overall. It can still run apps just fine, and there's no real lag on the S8. But over here on the S9, they've kind of fixed that little, stutter thing that was going on with the S8. So overall, in the day-to-day real world, this performance is just better, and I think it might make it worth the extra couple $100 on the price point. But if that really doesn't matter to you, you're a one app kind of person, you don't really run 1,000 things at once, you just want to make text calls and things like that, the S8 and the S9 are pretty much on par. Final conclusion, is the Galaxy S8 worth upgrading to the S9? Personally, I think if you own an S8, I don't think this is a good upgrade because I think it's only an improvement that, only really techie people who are really into the tech field that want to upgrade every year, or people that just like to be on the cutting edge every year will appreciate. If you're an everyday consumer that just uses your phone for some basic stuff, I don't think you're really going to notice enough of these features to really make it worth that $800 you're going to have to pay to get this device. If you're buying one of these for the first time, you might as well already spring an extra $100 or so just to get the S9. It gives you enough enhancements to make a better purchase over the S8. But if you're strapped for cash, the S8 is going to be fantastic, and you might even want to consider like something like the S7 Edge if you really want a discount. Overall, though, I do think that waiting out if you're an S8 user for the S10 will be a much more bigger improvement for you. It's kind of like, when iPhone 6 users waited for the iPhone 7, but you're probably not going to get a similar design like Apple did there with the next S series device. So I would wait it out one more year if I was you, or consider waiting for the Note 9, which is rumored to bring an under-display fingerprint scanner. If you guys found this video helpful, enjoyable, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. Any questions, comments, concerns, you guys know what to do. Drop them down below. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and peace.